Peppa Pig is an incredibly sweet show that has warmed the hearts of generations for years. But did you know that the reason Peppa became a star is something tragic and irreversible? I don't know if you've ever noticed, but Peppa Pig doesn't live in a normal world. Anthropomorphic animals have always been a great idea for creating children's cartoons because it's easy to make animals look cuter, making it easier for the target audience to absorb the lessons in each episode. But that's just the convenient excuse for the show to exist, because a world where animals behave like humans must have something wrong with it. And, man, there is something very wrong behind this world, specifically with Peppa and her entire lineage. The dark reason behind the existence of this show is something so opposite to what you imagine about the cartoon that it will make you never watch it the same way again. So get ready, grab your blankets to protect yourself from the darkness, and subscribe to the channel because another episode uncovering the truth about Peppa is starting here on Zigzag. You've definitely noticed that there's something off about Peppa's appearance. It was probably that intrusive thought that pops into your head for just a few seconds while watching any random episode, but you have to shoo it away like a fly. Everyone has had this thought, which is, does Peppa have both of her eyes on just one side of her face? If she faced forward, would one eye go to each side, or does she have 4 eyes, 2 on each side? Actually, neither answer is correct, and this is the great dark truth behind the show. Well, actually, it's part of the truth. Peppa is sick. That's right. Peppa has a rare disease that causes a bone malformation in her skull, which is why both of her eyes are on one side of her face. Have you ever thought about how strange the answer the creators gave about the passage of time in the series is? Because this is the second part of the truth. The creators of the show said that Peppa hasn't aged during the 20 years the show has existed because they are following just 1 year of her life, with each episode representing a single day. And they are only covering 1 year of Peppa's life because, due to this illness, that's the life expectancy doctors gave her. But Peppa had a dream, to be a star, to become famous, and to be a renowned actress on TV. So, as a way to fulfill her dream through something like the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the producers recorded Peppa during this time, and that's how she was born into stardom before our very eyes. But like all good things, one day, it will end. Do you also feel like giving Peppa a hug? Then type #Peppa in the comments so we know. And when I say "and," I literally mean that all these animals we know are going to cease to exist because they will naturally go extinct. Think about it. Besides the rabbits, what other families of sheep exist? Or wolves? Or pigs? Dogs? Cats? Every animal family we know only consists of 2 parents and their children, and sometimes the grandparents. In Peppa's case, there are also aunts and cousins, but even so, it's a very small family, one that would only work for reproduction if they lived in Alabama. This makes it pretty difficult for the species to continue because there's no way for new generations to exist, you know? There aren't any other piglets, puppies, and so on who are the same age as Peppa for them to date and have children. And since they're animals, interspecies relationships won't produce any results, unless some new kind of bizarre mutation appears. Can you imagine how freaky a wolf pig with 4 eyes would be? The few humans in this world would be scared out of their minds. Speaking of them, I'm pretty sure they're just chilling, waiting for the natural course of things. You've noticed how there are very few humans in Peppa Pig, right? Besides Santa Claus and Queen Elizabeth, who has already kicked the bucket in real life, there are very few other humans we know of in this world. If it's just Santa and the Queen, then we're doomed because they'd have the same issue with new generations as the animals. But there's probably a bunch of people hiding somewhere, living in their own city or even a village. If there's one thing we know, it's that we humans are resilient. After surviving pandemics, wars, dictatorships, and the garbage ending of Game of Thrones, we can say that we are one tough species. I think the humans in this world even helped crowdfund Peppa's Make-A-Wish dream of becoming a star because it's that final push for her to accept her fate and finally become a pizza topping. Man, talk about a year that's taking forever to pass for these guys, huh? Another thing that's going to take a while is the new season of Peppa Pig. We've put together a video in the card above with everything we know about the new season. Check it out after you finish this video. The Peppa Pig universe is more complicated to explain than the lore of Dark Souls and Elden Ring. Besides being a universe where deformed animals live like normal humans, and where those normal humans are a minority, there are also fairies, pirates, and all sorts of magical beings like vampires and medieval knights with modern-day technology. All of this exists in a shared universe that we only know is shared because the creators of this whole mess told us it is. So, you know how it goes. If the people who made it said so, then that's that. My theory is that in the show The Big Knights, which was the first cartoon the creators of Peppa Pig tried to get off the ground, the world was originally dominated by humans. It was a medieval world at its core, with knights, castles, mystical beings, and everything you'd expect. But at the same time, they had technology way too advanced for medieval times, like electricity and streetlights. This was the starting point of the universe before everything went up in flames, because humans were the majority on this planet, until Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom came along. That show is about a family of fairies where all kinds of magical problems can happen and become part of their adventures. Ben and Holly is definitely the middle ground between the two major eras, the Knights and Peppa, acting as the bridge that connects them. If the first show had medieval humans and knights, the second focused on magical beings, and by the third, not only had humans been wiped out, but they had been replaced by animals whose origins are a mystery, yet have strong ties to Ben and Holly, which serves as the link between everything. Not only does this pirate exist in Peppa's world, but the same character also exists in Ben and Holly. And since Ben and Holly also exist in Peppa's world and are famous, appearing on a Times Square billboard when Peppa visits New York, the connection becomes even stronger. On top of that, in the Ben and Holly episode, The Tooth Fairy, Holly plays the role of the Tooth Fairy for a human girl. This means humans still exist in that reality. And if you look closely in the corner of the room, there's a doll that looks exactly like Peppa sitting there. At some point, something went terribly wrong. Some portal was opened, or some forbidden magic was cast, flipping everything and transforming most humans into animals on the brink of extinction. I don't know about you, but I think this theory is rock solid, huh? The only thing more solid is the subscribe button. So go ahead and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell too. And the biggest proof that Peppa is on the verge of extinction is the rumors that the next season of Peppa Pig will be the last. Not only is the new season set to release only in 2027, but the creators of Peppa are handing these new episodes over to another studio and different producers. But there's a reason for this, and it's the cherry on top. The original producers of Peppa are leaving Peppa's production to create a brand new project. Yes, a new cartoon is coming, but we still don't know anything about what it will be. However, we've already learned that all their shows take place in the same universe. And as we've seen here, we can say there's a timeline connecting these shows. Everything suggests that the next show will be the next stage in the evolution of this bizarre world they've created. What do you think is coming next? For now, you can check out this video we picked out for you. Just click on the screen and go watch it. See you there.